Hi, everybody. Welcome. It's day 6, night 3. E3 2018 is over. It's in the books. The show floor, actually, is it still open another hour? They extended the show floor hours. It's crazy. But whatever. We're here. E3 is over. If we're here, then E3 must be over. Those are the rules. I'm Jeff Gersman. Welcome. We've got a couch full of friends here, ready to talk about video games. How's everyone doing?
Good.
Very well. Thank
Good.
you for asking.
Yeah, great.
Okay.
Terrific.
Yeah.
All right.
We've got Brad and Abby and Ben and Jan and Alex. Yeah, great. Awesome.
That's all.
Oh, God.
Jesus.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Dan's here.
Yeah, I've gotten really good at magic.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. No, Dan's a
learned.
magician.
We got to stop letting him play stealth games.
Yeah. That's just,
I fear for my safety.
yeah. You should. It's been a dangerous week. There's been a lot of threats out there. A lot of things going on. Just very. It's a good that they upped the security at E3 this year. A lot of bag check, a lot of checking IDs. 'Cause you never know who's out there.
And cybersecurity seems to be.
Yeah, no,
of the utmost
cybersecurity
importance.
is absolutely on the case.
I saw the
Twitter
lady in front of me tried to get in with a badge that was not hers this morning.
Did she get kicked out?
She was
They yelled
turned
at her?
away.
I saw
Ooh.
someone who was trying to get in and got to the ID check, and I don't know if he didn't have an ID or what the situation was, but he was basically like saying, "I will give you $1,000 right now to let me through."
Wow.
Whoa.
He was.
You
had to
really
get
want
I'd
me
be like,
or no.
okay, sure.
Not
Did he-
worth it.
Did he
Not
look,
worth it.
Did he look like a guy who could provide $1,000?
I mean, he had his wallet in his hand.
Oh, okay.
Does he just have 1,000 in cash?
Who knows? I don't know.
Wow, I'd say yes.
How LA
Yeah.
rolls. Carry
Yeah, at
thousands.
that point.
They're actually like if you do what the lady I mentioned tried to do, they're taking the badge.
Of course.
So if somebody gives you their badge to get in, they lose their badge.
It's weirdly telling that that's something they only put in place on day 3, almost as if day 3 is the day everyone went like, "I'm not going back to this show. Here, you take it."
'Cause it didn't sell out this year, right? Like,
Yeah,
Lower
that's my
attendance
understanding.
than last
Maybe it
year.
sold out at the very end or something, but I remember the week
Did it
before
sell
the
out
show.
last year?
I don't know. We saw some attendance figures, or I saw some stuff. I was looking it up, and it looked like maybe there were like 1,000 more people here this year than last year, which doesn't feel like that on the floor.
No, it definitely was
No,
not.
it didn't feel like crowded.
And granted, last year was very not designed for the number of people that were supposedly there. This year was built out a little differently.
Yeah, they took a little bit of that into consideration for sure.
A lot of space.
A lot of space, a lot of open space, plenty of place to stretch out. You want to make some temporary carpet angels.
Yep.
All sorts of stuff.
For the podcast.
Yeah. There's all kinds of things you do there.
Yesterday, Abby, Ben, and I almost stepped on someone just laying down on the floor.
Oh, yeah. That was they were waiting in
Yeah.
line, but to wait, they were lying down.
Yeah.
People were not pleased, but they didn't get up.
Oh yeah, no, that's at that
Why
point
would they?
You've committed to it,
Yeah.
right? You're like laying on the floor
You're
in
that
a public
guy.
place. You've made your choice.
Yeah.
You're beyond shame at that point.
This
I wonder
is true.
what the big line was this year, because there have been years where it's like, oh, okay, everyone's lined up for 8 hours to play Zelda.
I would have thought it would have been Smash Brothers, but they did like you got a ticket and then you came back for a session.
Oh, that's
back to
super
go do
smart,
that.
actually.
Yeah.
And they said it was no more than 45 minutes of waiting once you got the ticket.
I
that's
wouldn't say it was a big line, but there was definitely the most fervor around Cyberpunk.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
There was definitely a line of people who looked very intense.
I definitely saw at least a few people walk in and out of there, like clearly going up trying to get an appointment, then looking very dejected when they walked out.
Yeah, I didn't try to get over there and try to
Yeah.
like muscle my way in there. I figured we had 3 people see it already. It would be shitty of me to try to be like hello. And also usually what they say in those cases is like come back for the very last one of the show and we'll just cram everybody in. And because fuck the fire code, they can't shut us down if we're leaving. But I was here, getting ready for this, doing this. So no go. Brad,
Hello.
you and I saw Anthem.
We did. We played Anthem.
Yeah, we played Anthem.
Yeah.
What do you think?
It plays super great.
Yeah.
The jetpacking and the barrel rolling and the hovering and boosting and all that, like it's nimble as hell. Like
Yeah.
30 set, well maybe not 30, like 5 minutes into it, I was just snapping between all those mobility modes without thinking about it.
Right. Yeah. It took a little bit of work because it's like, what is it? It's like A to jump.
Yeah,
you
again,
got a
double
jump.
Yeah,
And that's like a cool like jet little squirt boost kind of
Yeah.
thing.
yeah. And then I think it was click
Left stick
left
to fly, right stick
right
to hover.
Yeah,
Yeah. And you kind of click into and out of
Yeah.
those states.
that's what it is. The fact that you can just go back and forth super fast.
Yeah. Once I got the hang of it, it was really cool.
Felt great. Yeah.
Yeah. But at the same time, like I guess like some of the environments and stuff was like, I want to fly more,
Mhm.
and I was left wondering, like, as you play through the game, will you get like a longer boost
Yeah.
like, before you overheat?
Yeah, you have
know?
overheat. Yeah.
But,
I think there's like a pretty low artificial ceiling. When you try to just fly up, they stop you pretty quickly.
yeah. Huh.
But it adds a lot to combat, just being able to jump up and over people whenever you want.
Yeah, I would have thought that you would have been able to shoot while flying, and have it be like this inaccurate, weird spray. But you have to at least hover. Like you can shoot from a hovering position, but not
Man,
while.
yeah, just shoot like a fucking
Just dive
like a
bombing. I
fighter
thought,
jet.
I thought you'd be able to just like
Yeah.
dive bomb on fools and do that, or like like a flying punch sort of thing. Just like flying melee, but like the melee is like a really good.
like ground pound kind of thing.
Yeah, so like you can fly up super high and just go fuck this, and then you just from whatever height you just come down and just slam on shit.
That seems satisfying.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and the shooting felt good.
Yeah, the powers that like you had like a AOE freeze grenade. The super. I think we played the same class.
Yep.
The super was just a lock-on Panzer.
Yeah, just
Panzer
paint
Dragoon
some-
missile kind of
Paint
thing.
some targets, let off some missiles.
Pretty standard stuff, but it played well.
Yeah. What was it? It was there was also like the electric shot or something. So like the two abilities, it was like a ice grenade and then like electricity bolt thing.
I didn't quite get a sense of how the combo stuff worked.
It would just say combo.
But it just
if
pops
you did
up
both of
combo
those
all over the
things
screen.
back
Yeah.
to back, it would say combo.
Yeah.
Does it amplify damage? Or
I think
so.
Probably.
But they didn't really say like if any two powers can make a combo or if you have to match certain elements together or how that stuff works.
I mean, I guess that's kind of a Mass Effect thing, the kind of biotic combos and do this then that type stuff.
Sure.
But it didn't feel like a reskinned Mass Effect or anything like that, which was good. But yeah, I don't know. They didn't, there was no real town or parlaying or anything like that. It was just get into this mission and shoot stuff.
Short shooty demo, but
we did a little boss fight type thing.
that cutscene at the beginning seemed okay. Like those characters were animated incredibly well and
nice.
like seemed like they had decent personality. I don't know how all that story stuff is going to.
They had us playing 3-player, but I guess it is for. I guess that they were showing that at the press conference.
Last thing I can think of about Anthem is that Casey Hudson was out there today saying maybe Anthem will have romance options.
That game's out to, way to commit. Oh man, they must be so fucking skittish.
Yeah.
About any reaction to anything. That's the only reason you do something like that, right? Is you're just like, people seem. We can't go through this again. It went bad for us last time. The whole company's had some trouble. Man, maybe you could kiss, maybe some smooching. We'll put in.
You want to kiss a robot?
Yeah, you want to make out with a robot? I guess we could put that in there. Help.
Maybe Shepard's there too. I don't know.
Yeah, what if it was Shepard? And this is another story of the Shepard.
Just Garrus, no Shepard.
Okay, I'd be in for that. Yeah. Oh yeah, but it seemed cool.
Yeah,
it seemed pretty cool.
I'm way more positive about it having played it now.
Yeah,
than I was just after the press conference.
Are they talking about like end game content? We want to support them way after. Like, it seems like there's an opportunity for them to be like, hey, Destiny kind of, but we're gonna be like big on it.
I don't know. They would, they were really just kind of walking us through the demo, but I don't think they are saying anything specific. Other than I'm sure if you ask them, they'd be like, we intend to support Anthem for years to come for our players, for the players.
Like you look at Division 2 and they're up there saying like, we have huge plans for post-release content.
And that's a specific case of like the people that played Division 1 found it to be really lacking for a long time. So that's them kind of getting out in front of that stuff. I think that's more about talking to people that played the Division and less about kind of like dunking on Destiny.
Other people.
Yeah. But yeah. Abby, what'd you get around and see? We haven't heard from you during the show much. You've been in the back with the knobs and the turntables and
yes, that's what I do in the back.
Yeah.
Let's see. I mean, I saw Nintendo with you guys, and I was also underwhelmed. I also saw the Xbox Adaptive Controller.
Right.
And I just want to mirror what Jason already said. It was awesome. I was glad to see it, and I'm glad to see that someone is like designing a product for more people that's also like gonna fit within the family and not feel like some kind of weird afterthought.
Right.
So that's pretty cool.
Like it looks like it fits right next to all the other Xbox
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I also, today I saw Square Enix, and I saw Just Cause 4.
Yes, we saw that together.
It's another Chaos Sim. It seems fun.
Yeah.
But also, I don't know. Every time I hear Just Cause, I always think it's just cause. Like, like I'm blowing up this barrel just cause.
Just because.
They showed some tornadoes. They showed
Yeah,
some
the weather
tornadoes.
stuff was cool.
Can you make the tornadoes,
yeah,
or do they just happen?
You control the tornadoes
They-
without a mod.
I feel like it was kind of implied that there might be some control, there might be some narrative stuff.
Yeah.
Well, there's definitely some narrative stuff, and there might be some just like it'll show up randomly. But can we talk about the mission we saw?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
like
the mission we saw was like you have to go through and destroy these like wind guns to make sure it goes to the specific airport. So you have
So you're
it
kind of
seems like,
redirecting.
Yeah, so it
the
seems
tornado.
like they,
well, no,
yes.
they're redirect.
They're-
Like the
yes.
bad guys
Oh,
are
okay.
trying to redirect it, and you're trying to stop them from doing that.
Yeah.
So their airport goes tornado.
But potentially, I don't know. You can set those up somewhere. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Who
you just get
knows?
your own wind guns. And you're just
Yeah.
like, let's plop one here and do this.
They've added. They basically added Fultoning in that game. Like you can
okay.
Fulton objects with a balloon thing, and you can also set a tracker on them, so it will follow you around.
So
if
you're not like
are-
Fultoning them off the everything. They're
no.
just putting them in the air.
They just go into the air, but then like if you use the tracker, like it will follow you to wherever you're going with the wingsuit or the parachute or whatever, and then you can just drop shit on people.
Yeah.
That's
One
just-
at a time? Or, is
Or
it,
I think you can do it in bulk.
like with like cars and stuff, you like
I think
attachable
You get to
into
do
a
the,
car.
like the
and-
multi-attack.
They didn't show a lot of the multi-attach stuff, but like it seems like that will all work together the way that stuff in that game is supposed to.
Yeah.
It's just they're just making Gary's mod.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
all just Gary's mod.
the grapple gun was back.
Yes, it has the grapple gun.
What
Yeah.
version were they showing? Do you know?
They were using an Xbox controller,
Okay.
but I'm pretty sure it was on PC.
Okay, just because the console version of that last one was a fucking mess.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Kind of makes me
Yeah.
wonder, but
Yeah, we saw the Anthem on PC also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
NVIDIA
build
had
they
it.
were running seemed like it was running pretty well.
Sure.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Jan,
Hello.
you got out and about here. What'd you think?
We were kind of talking about it earlier in the war room that like going to E3 is kind of like the magical dream of like everything's hidden behind these doors and stuff. Of like, man, I wish I could just go. And now that I've gone, it's a lot of lines. It's a lot of lines, and it's. But I do appreciate the energy that like everyone has. Like everyone's like lining up for their specific game that they want to see. It's just a bummer that they have to wait in like 3-hour lines, or I saw
Right.
multiple people going up to lines for games with an attendant telling them like, sorry, the line's capped off for the whole day. Enjoy E3.
Right. Yeah.
So that was a bummer. But I did get to check out a couple things. Checked something out with Vinny yesterday. Embargo's till next Wednesday, but yep.
That I'll tell you, that almost never happens.
yeah, that's
and it's ridiculous.
super weird.
Yeah, when I
does,
told
like-
Brad, his face was just like, what?
Yeah.
Odd. Checked out the VR boxing game Creed with Alaska on Tuesday. That was pretty cool.
How's the punching?
I tried it with the PSVR, so some of the tracking was a little bit hit or miss sometimes.
What'd you think of the fake Stallone voice?
It was pretty bad.
Yeah, but like
I got it.
kind of great bad.
Kind of great bad.
Okay, yeah, because
if
like when I was listening to it, I was like, this is like they just asked someone like, who's got the best Stallone in this
Yeah.
block of 6 cubicles? What do we don't have a lot of time here.
Was that actually the Ready to Rumble guy too, introducing the match?
Michael Buffer?
Yeah, was that him?
Oh, he was in Ready to Rumble.
Probably, yeah. I mean, he's
He
done
didn't
video
say
games before.
let's get ready to rumble though.
Then it's
so-
definitely not him.
Okay.
You're not going to pay him and not have him say
Yeah,
that.
right,
and
right.
he has a copyright on the phrase,
Mm.
so you would have to pay him to use it.
So is it like a fighting game and then like there's a character select, or are you as
You are
you're
just-
playing as Creed in like a
Yep.
story mode?
Yeah.
No other like Rocky Universe fighters, right? Is it just guys from Creed?
So far, it was just you and Rocky. Rocky is your trainer, and then I guess the progression is supposed to be you climbing up the ranks
Okay.
as a boxer.
Does the robot from Rocky 4 make an appearance?
Oh,
They didn't say that anything about it not being there.
Polly's girlfriend.
I also checked out Konami today. Zone of the Enders VR looks like Zone of the Enders 2 for the PS2, and it's not the best.
So they didn't dress it up too much.
Not
Kind of looks like a PS2 game.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
That,
A lot of,
that's like that, on some level, I'm like, okay, like a PS2 game in VR, that might be neat.
right.
But
The part that I thought was neat was like the character animations was still the still photos of just like the mouse jabbering away as they're talking.
yeah,
It's still the same type of writing of like, we have to get the Jehudi, blah, blah, my legs don't work.
been there.
Yeah.
Oh, Jehudi.
And High Sports V? or
Hypersports.
Hypersports
Wait,
R.
It's not called track and field?
No.
No, so Hypersports is I believe, the Japanese name of track and field.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah,
It's way cooler.
Yeah.
yeah, it is way cooler.
The guy instructed me, he's like, before you play this game, you have to put on these special controller skins for your Switch Joy-Cons, or else my experience wouldn't be that great.
What were the skins?
It was just like these silicone molds to go over them, kind of like the Wii condoms, but like for your Joy-Cons.
Power
Just-
pad?
Was the idea to keep you from fucking up your hands from mashing on buttons, or like wait, because like track and field was like you smashing two buttons to run, and so I'm thinking like, is that like to prevent like that Mario Party thing of like rubbing a hole in your hand?
Not at
or-
all. I still felt the holes quickly developing.
Oh, so what's the actual motion to run, or is it just like?
It just hitting A and X back and forth. But
Gosh.
for the 100-meter dash, they have introduced motion controls, and it's not just like going back and forth. You actually have to swing your arms, which was working pretty well. I started dead last because I couldn't get the motions to work, and then I was actually going for it, and just like wide sweeping motions, and your boy got first.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
They didn't announce a date for that just yet. They're teasing a story mode for a track and field game. But the best part I found was the character faces, I feel, weren't exactly there just yet because the eyebrows and eyes did not move. So the faces were either
Yeah. Oh, that's.
and just like
mouthful.
emoting and just like mouthing stuff. And
What
it was,
more do you need?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were teasing some drama within the story mode of encountering ex-teammates and trying to draft them to your team, which I feel like wouldn't really work in the Olympics because
No, that's how. It's just people just defect.
Isn't that just Ryuji's sub-story from Persona 5?
Yeah.
yeah, actually,
Blitz the league.
Yeah, that's exactly what's the league.
yeah. They didn't tease anything about doping though, so
Oh, okay.
Let's hope. I mean,
fingers crossed.
let's hope for dope.
Hope for dope.
All right, Ben.
I also saw some VR stuff.
Yeah.
I saw Bethesda's VR offerings,
Yeah.
which is that Wolfenstein game.
Cyber Pilot. Yeah.
Yeah. Remember those dogs that had flamethrower mouths?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's you piloting one of those. Basically, you tank controls kind of move with the pad, and you have a flamethrower, and then you have like a charge move you can hold up and then ram things. And like if you rammed into a car, it would go off and explode. And it was just kind of an arena shooter, but slowly progressing through. It was fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Prey VR was weird. It was a lot of like puzzles. It was mostly puzzles. No
okay.
like shooting. A lot of like the stuff with the recyclers in Prey where you could put organic materials in. They'd come out with cubes, and you could use those to craft new stuff. There's a lot of that.
Were they good puzzles?
I had to ask the guy what to do several times.
So yes.
So yes, they're better than my brain can work with. So
But it's not in any way a real Prey game. It's like a limited thing.
yeah, I don't know. Like,
What's DLC for Prey? Right? Is it a standalone thing, or is it actually like?
I think this is separate.
yeah, this is
Okay.
This is a separate thing. But whatever. It was a very limited demo.
Yeah.
And then also from Bethesda, I saw Rage 2.
Yeah, I played that too.
Yeah, Brad and I played through the same demo. It seems really cool.
Yeah, it moves well. It's fast. It struck me as a very Dan Riker game, honestly.
It looks like one.
Like it's
So
just
like a Matt Hazard sequel.
big and yeah,
yeah.
But it's just big and dumb and loud and fast and stupid, basically. Like
Okay.
bodies flying everywhere. Like
The dash, you have like a dash on right bumper now,
Yeah.
and that is really good. Helps you move through the level really fast. You have like a slam attack. You have a bunch of different kind of abilities on a cooldown. My biggest complaint though was we watched the little demo trailer first, and it showed a lot of wing stick action.
Right.
You can like lock on to people who are behind walls, and it will kind of find a path to go hit them. But I never found myself wanting to use it because you could just as easily dash over and then shoot a guy.
Yeah.
And it was either wing stick or grenades, and grenades I was just finding universally better.
Yeah.
people splat real good.
Yeah,
with
a lot of good
grenades,
splatting.
Which was another Dan-esque element, I thought.
Weapons good.
But
Dan likes to make a mess.
yeah,
He's spilling stuff all the time.
yes. It felt like it was kind of splitting the difference between a Call of Duty and a Doom.
Yes.
Because it's got down the sights, like good down the sights aiming.
Yeah,
Like, it
yeah.
felt good, and you're going for headshots and stuff. But then you've got to push that, like send somebody flying. You've got the ground pound, like the dash, the wing stick, and all the cooldowns are dropping at just the right rate that you're switching between them constantly.
A lot of talk about stuff being epically awesome.
They learned a lot from
Well,
Fortnite.
that was not in the actual game. I think
There was only one line in the game that made me kind of cringe, but yeah, the trailer.
it was they had actually like recorded a custom trailer for this demo where this lady was describing what you would be doing in the demo, and yeah, it was like, oh, we've stuffed this wasteland full of epically awesome shit.
I spent the whole time trying to figure out if that guy was Aaron Paul or not.
Yeah.
But I couldn't find any press release about, hey, Aaron Paul is the voice of Rage 2, which makes me think it's not.
It's just his cheapest non-union equivalent.
Kinda.
He can play it with a light gun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe they're waiting. Maybe that's like a big reveal later. It's like, by the way, we're proud to announce Aaron Paul. Thank you.
From the Need for Speed movie.
Yes, of Need for Speed fame.
And then also you're in that old government facility, and they've hacked the computer systems to think that you're the old president from
Walker Ranger.
from before the apocalypse.
Yeah.
So just every time you walk into new areas of that facility, it's just like, welcome, Mr. President, please, blah, blah, blah.
As you're just
thought that was
murdering the goon
kind of
squad.
amusing.
Does it have any kind of like Bulletstorm tone to it?
I feel like the minute you're saying something is epically awesome, I would say yes.
That's what I
guess
worry
that's not-
about.
Not in the humor so much, but you
Okay.
actually, that reminds me that it's got kill streaks. Like it has you're charging a meter based on having a kill combo going. And that goes into, I mean, you just go faster and you get your health back and you shoot.
Okay.
I don't know, I forget exactly what it does, but shit's all pink. Oh, also there are pink sunsets.
Cool.
Like the game is pink as fuck. Like the sun was setting and the sky was pink. It was like
That sounds neat.
a very bright, colorful, goofy game.
The AI also seemed really smart. I remember that was a talking point of their trailer, but there were moments where I felt like they were getting good positioning on me and stuff, so that was cool.
Did y'all get ice cream from that ice cream truck?
No, they offered it. I skipped it.
I had
Why
a
would you
Skyrim.
offer it?
I got
Wait,
a
why would you
Skyrim
skip it if they offered it?
sweet roll.
Probably gained 10 pounds on this trip already.
I would love both of those
Oh, no.
treats.
So no Fallout there?
No Fallout. The last thing I played there.
Did you play Blades?
Yeah.
Yeah, they totally had the phone game. Blades.
yeah.
Oblivion or the Elder Scrolls. Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like one of those iPhone games that's cool, but I'll never play where it's like you tap to move and then you encounter a guy and you have to kind of time your hits by holding down a thing and let it go.
Almost like an Elite Beat Agents thing of when you want to attack, you hold down and a circle starts expanding and when you let off at the right time to get a proper attack.
Weird. Okay.
All right.
And you had buttons for shield, lightning spell, and like frost armor spell. You could do fake joysticks, but I thought just tap to move and tap to attack and look and swipe to look around.
Yeah, I totally played it with one hand and it worked just fine.
Yeah.
How hot
What'd you do with
was
your
the phone
free
getting?
It was pretty warm.
Yeah, it's a good looking phone game.
I feel like that would just chew through batteries.
It's like, but it looks better than Skyrim on 360 did. I definitely would say
Oh,
that.
sure. Yeah.
Like it's a decent looking game.
Makes sense. Cool. Anyone else see anything today?
So Soul Calibur.
Oh yeah.
Played it.
Of course you did.
Yeah.
Played some of that too.
It was. I mean, it looks great. It seems to play great. It felt weird because I played it so much with controllers over the years.
Yeah.
That, like they had a fight stick set up.
Oh, sure.
And so it was just that moment of like all my muscle memory just going to shit and just like, okay, I have to look down at this and see where the triangle is and where R2 is. And they changed my favorite Mitsurugi move that I use the most. So
Which one?
it's back and Y. It's the one where he steps back and then comes forward with a
yeah.
stab. So it's good for dodging a thing and then counterattacking.
Right.
I don't know if it's still in there, but they just changed it. But that was the first thing I noticed. It seems great. I ran around the booth like a crazy person, asking everyone with a Namco shirt if it was going to have 8-on-18 battle, and nobody knew. So we'll see.
I'll say this is the best looking Yoshimitsu to date of all the different Yoshimitsus.
Oh wow, that's
my
a
personal
that's a
favorite.
bold claim.
As a Yoshimitsu player, I feel.
Okay, all right, yeah.
have the-
If you would actually call yourself a Yoshimitsu player, then I will back off.
Played as Geralt a little bit, and he had like a fire hand thing, so, like
Yeah.
projectiles. So it's kind of that weird thing from Soul
Tekken,
Calibur
like,
2, where it's like,
or-
Link is just shooting arrows and throwing
Right,
bombs
yeah.
and shit. Yeah. But no,
Yeah.
he makes sense as a guest character.
Yeah, I played a little bit of that game a while back, and he seemed, like I was getting the projectiles out, but maybe the trade-off was like he seemed a little like slower than some of the other characters.
he definitely
that-
has some big swing and
Yeah.
sword moves that other characters don't necessarily have.
That's the subtitle. It's Soul
Big swing
Calibur.
and sword
Big
moves.
swing and sword.
There's a pretty basic like meter thing where if you hit R2, you can do this kind of like big attack. It's one of those things where you have to stop and watch the animation.
Right.
You can also like hit forward or back, I think, in R2, and it does this like area of effect thing where it like pushes someone back, and then you also have like increased stats or something for a little bit.
Did you figure out what that like slow down kind of rock paper scissory thing.
That was the
I think that's
thing-
called the reversal edge. I think. Is what
Yeah, it
it's
was something
called,
where
if
it
I
was
remember
like
right.
vertical beats horizontal or vice versa beats
Both
kick,
players hit a
beats-
button, and there's a rock paper scissors
Yeah,
on that to see
Jason
who
and I were
wins the
trying to
clash.
figure out what exactly was beating what, and it was hard
Yeah.
because like sometimes I wasn't pressing any buttons, and that was beating certain things.
Oh, weird. That's
They had like a little triangle on the little placard there that said like
Oh,
this beats this.
okay.
right.
But yeah, it looks great and feels great. Like I can't wait to play with the controller and see if it has 8-on-8 team battle.
It's what everyone
Random.
says about fighting games. I can't wait to play it with a controller.
Yes. Yes.
So I'm 100% with you.
Soul Calibur specifically, yeah.
It's like Soul Calibur and Tekken also, like those games that were, kind of those PS1 games.
Yeah.
Or really, just realistically, like games that were largely 4-button games.
Yes.
Handled really well in that
And, like,
specific setup.
They had arcade versions, obviously, but I think everyone kind of associates Tekken with PlayStation and Soul Calibur with Dreamcast, and so I think more people played with a controller and are used to that.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's cool that you're liking it, because I played it and had the same feeling I've had with every other Soul Calibur game since 2 of just like, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Seems fine. Seems like they made another one, but I just don't
I don't
care enough about those characters and that fighting to really get back into it. Like I would still rather go back and play actual Soul Calibur if I was going to play any of them.
It's still the one that plays the best for sure. But yeah, there's just a flow to Soul Calibur's combat that even the ones that people didn't love, like 4 or 5 or whatever. Like I play the shit out of those just because like there's a flow to Soul Calibur's combat that is not the like. I mean, there's certainly no memorization or anything. It's not the like down forward or Hadouken motions and stuff like that. It's just like
It
there's a flow.
totally
has
Dan,
that
it
stuff.
totally has that
I know,
stuff.
and especially I went through everyone's move list on the first one, and it has
Yeah.
that stuff. But you can jump in. I think it's very newcomer friendly because you can kind of hit buttons and stuff,
Right.
and it does really cool stuff. But also, if you want to dive deeper, you can find like, okay, I like Helik. I'm going to learn my main moves with this guy and memorize them. Like I don't know. It's my favorite playing fighting game. Well, Mortal Kombat's probably my favorite fighting series, but Soul Calibur feels great.
Yeah, I think again, like I always felt the same way about Tekken. Like this is something you kind of throw anyone into, but like,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously that Dreamcast Soul Calibur was huge, and tons of people played it that had never played a fighting game and didn't play a fighting game after that one.
Right.
Like it's just such a special moment in time. I think
Totally.
it's like GoldenEye.
Yeah.
Everyone played Soul Calibur in college,
Yeah.
whether they gave a shit about video games or not.
Totally. I
If they were in college at that specific time.
feel like Double Dash is one of those too.
No one played Double Dash.
That's insane.
No.
People love Double Dash.
No, people are like Double Dash.
Double
That's
Dash.
I
garbage.
love Double
What is
Dash. It's the best
rules?
Mario Kart.
That's
Double
no,
Dash, I think, is my number 2. I think
should
8's
check
maybe my
out.
favorite.
Eight's maybe.
DS.
better, but
Super
DS
Mario
Online.
Kart.
DS.
Super Mario Kart's great.
There you go.
Yeah, they're all great.
They got
It's
it
not a
right.
bad one.
They got it right the first time.
That
It should
Game Boy
stop.
The
Color.
Game Boy Advance one is probably the weakest one, but I still think it's a good game.
Nah. I'll go with that.
It's good.
Yeah. Cool. Anyone see anything else?
Yeah, the
out,
thing I saw yesterday we didn't have time to talk about was Dying Light 2,
Oh, right.
which I saw right before The Witcher, so real strong Polish afternoon.
Or right before Cyberpunk.
I mean Cyberpunk, yeah, sorry.
It's a stealth Witcher game at the show.
Yeah, basically. That thing showed super strong. So the first game took place in one quarantine city where the outbreak had just started. This game is set 15 years later where the outbreak went global
Okay.
and basically wiped out humanity.
Mm.
So it's just like barbarism across the world. There are no governments left. It's just basically anarchy. That's like the whole modern Dark Ages thing they were talking about.
Right. Yeah.
But it's a really interesting setup for a zombie game because basically they said the zombies have been around for so long at this point that when they come out in the day and are in the sunlight, they're just degenerated weaklings that you can just kind of deal with.
Huh.
So there aren't that many zombies around during the day. It very much seemed like people are the real.
Oh.
Are you saying they might be the real Walking Dead?
No, they're the
Is
real
that what you're
dying-
saying?
they're
But I mean,
dying
actually,
light.
they took that cliche of in a zombie apocalypse, people are the real monsters, and spun it all the way out to its logical conclusion,
Sure.
which
right.
is that after society has collapsed, it's fucking gangs rule the streets, and it's super messed up. The zombies go indoors, there are zombie nests called dark places during the day because they have to hibernate while the sun's out. And basically, because it's been 15 years, the city is picked clean except for those places because nobody wants to go in there.
Oh.
So there's this big risk reward in the daytime of do you want to go in there and try to get what's in there because there's valuable stuff and deal with all these
Can you go in there at night when they're out and about?
probably
And make, what did that?
probably, but then they're all out on the streets, so
Right,
then you're
yeah.
definitely gonna have to deal with them because they'll be awake, they're asleep in there. They actually went in one during the day and it's just fucking dozens of zombies all standing around going like that. So
What if you just like stealth kill your
yeah,
way through?
so it seemed like you could, but they woke them up and had to bail quickly. The other thing was they showed some of that choice stuff they were talking about in the press conference.
Right.
Like basically the quest was go to the top of this water tower. This group called the Peacekeepers has sent you to go look for their emissary who they sent to cut a deal with these bandits and never came back. And you get up there and they just like confess to killing the guy and they're like, yeah, what about it? And you can either kill them or ally with them basically. So if you kill them, you go back to the Peacekeepers and tell them, hey, I took care of your problem. And these guys are like paramilitary, like kind of regimented. They're the guys that you saw in the trailer with the big blue armor. And they take control of the water supply because those dudes were running the water tower. So after that, all the fountains in the city are now activated and like everybody has free water. So A, you can heal at fountains. B, you see people looking more healthy and like doing better around you. And also these guys have installed like a bunch of defenses and pulley systems. So there'll be all these pulleys now that you can just like scale the sides of buildings super quick. But
also they're the fucking cops.
So then as he continued walking through this area, now that these guys had taken over, all of a sudden you notice like they're carrying out public executions, like they are ruling with an iron fucking fist. So like the people have water but no freedom now.
Yeah.
Versus if you allied with the bandits, then the Peacekeepers don't move into that part of town. And these guys take over the water tower and start selling the water to the people. And you can basically go by and get a cut of the profits whenever you want. Like they'll pay you on a regular basis. But the area becomes more lawless. There are more shitty people around. Like it did the thing that Shadow of War does, where when you take over a territory with a certain tribe, it dresses up all the buildings.
Oh, sure.
In the sort of architectural style of that faction. Like it does that for like a whole district of the city.
Did you get the impression that you could just like walk some of that back if you didn't like it?
I don't know.
You're like, hey, these guys took over, and man, these guys are dicks.
It's tough
Let's
to say.
kill them all.
Like this seemed like a story quest that once you made that choice, you'd probably be stuck with it. Although they made it sound like dynamic, where like different factions are allied with other factions. So like when the Peacekeepers move in, then other factions who are on the same page with them will also start showing up. So I don't know if that stuff is maybe kind of dynamic. But they said there are like hundreds of those choices you make throughout the game. So
if they're all like that meaningful, I'm sure that they probably can't be all that meaningful. But you know, if they all have an impact, then that is a big deal.
The dude running the demo stopped just short of saying, "Hey, nobody's ever done this before." Like they were talking a big game about it. So I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes. Oh, the other thing is, on top of Chris Avallone, they said they have a bunch of former Witcher 3 writers working on this.
Weird,
including the people who wrote the Bloody Baron. Supposedly, they name dropped that.
Yeah.
So
that seems like the right thing to name drop, I guess.
That's some writing chops on that game. I'm super optimistic about that thing.
And I guess they would probably need that many people coming in if they're trying to account for all those choices. Then that's probably a lot of heavy lifting.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see where that thing goes.
It sounds ambitious, but at the same time, like
he used the word ambitious. Like he almost made it sound like, yeah, we know this is a rickety undertaking and we might not pull this off.
Yeah,
but we're going for it.
And the game part of it looked cool.
Yeah,
too,
like there are changes to the parkour stuff. I mean, there's a lot of mechanical stuff there, but it looks really solid.
Cool. So what's everyone think about the show overall? Then I guess we're probably done with our takes on individual games for the most part here. Jan, this is the first time you've been in the show. You said it was just like a lot of lines.
Yeah.
But what else you got? What'd you think? Press conferences, all that other stuff.
I think this was probably a weird year to judge press conferences compared to other years. I'm used to watching you guys do the press conferences in the middle of the day and not have to wait 3 hours to cover 2 more later on in the day.
Yeah.
Also, I'm used to a press conference being a press conference instead of a spectacle type deal where they're putting people in a specific location to show off one specific scene. I also was not expecting my body hurting as much as it does. Yeah.
That'll get on top of you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's that part of it can be weird. It's like you think like, oh, well, whatever. It's it's a week. Like what could happen? And I don't know. I feel better than I do most years. Like I was walking back and forth to the show instead of taking cars and stuff like that even, which normally I'm like, I need to save my legs and feet because I'll be dead. But whatever. I was just walking to the show and stuff.
I was also super confused what everyone was doing at the show because I was thinking like, oh, all right, there's only a couple people that can be part of games media and journalists and developers and stuff. what is everyone else doing? Like,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
There were like a bunch. I know the public was allowed to go to the show, but there was a bunch of people just like, you were here at like 9 o'clock in the morning. You don't look too official, and it was just interesting to see like
Yeah.
the different types of people.
Yeah.
One of those zombies was totally in character the whole time. And it scared me while I was in the bathroom.
Oh.
Wow.
Yes,
hate
there was
it.
one
Crossing
standing
the
in the
line.
I
bathroom,
hate the
just
song.
being a total weirdo. And then there was one where like somebody was like leaning up against the wall, just like checking their phone, and there was some
Zombie?
zombie lady sitting there, and like if this was the person on the zombie, she was just going like, and the other person like was not turning and looking or anything. Like these zombies were just keeping kayfabe the entire fucking time.
I was
like-
going down the escalator, and there was one just standing at the bottom of the escalator, like right in front of where you get off, just like doing the zombie thing.
Like that's better than being in the bathroom, though.
Yeah, that
like
zombie's
that's
a pervert.
Did they hire Improv Anywhere for this? Like, what they just fucking God.
Let me just say that bathroom smelled. So this
All,
person-
I'll say actually, every bathroom I went into was like I walked in there minutes after someone had done bad business. It was like just a sewer.
Yeah.
Like day one, morning one of the show. Like we've got to the show floor. Like the show floor had been open for less than an hour. Like it was not a ton of people there yet.
Yeah.
And I walked in the bathroom and it was like, oh, it was like a fucking bomb went off.
The
Ladies
one by the
were
entrance
fine.
of West Hall, like in the span of like one poop, I saw like 4 different types of bugs like go by my feet, like weird little crawly, like they weren't like full cockroaches or anything, but they were weird little things crawling around by my feet.
Yeah.
But
There is no secret good bathroom at the LA Convention Center. They're all
There
they're
used
the
to
ones
be,
behind,
like,
behind the curtains. Like at the back,
Oh,
back
sure,
of the
sure,
hall.
sure.
Pooping behind a
those are
curtain.
okay.
yeah, you just fucked it up for everyone.
For the archive.
Yeah. Damn it. Chop this out.
Do we have an update we can roll?
Yeah. All right, cool. Alex, what'd you think?
I don't know. Like something just felt off this year.
Yeah.
Like everyone was just waiting around for something to happen, but no one knew what that was, and it never really happened.
It's a games year at a time when, I think part of it is like, hey, new hardware kind of came out, but it's not new hardware.
Yeah.
Or it's not new hardware.
Like the point, but at the point they're past talking about it.
Right.
Yeah.
So there wasn't really much to say. I think some people were anticipating like price cuts and some other, which I guess, like Sony did to do like a temporary cut for the duration of the show. But I think like it was very light on business and long on games, which is great. But at the same time, it feels like that there was business to be done at some of those press conferences that didn't really come up.
And then there's also a lot of leaks for the game,
Sure.
Yes.
which
Yeah.
took the wind out of a lot of people's sails.
And it just didn't feel that long on games. And I mean, granted, I think last year was ridiculous in terms of the number of like high quality things that came out, and anything will look weak in comparison. But like, I don't know. Like this holiday, I'm looking at what's there, and it's like, there's the old standbys, and something like Red Dead, which we know is just gonna fucking take over for a month and a half probably.
Right.
But I just don't I didn't feel like I got anything else really out of that was like, okay, this is significant. You know?
I feel like, like watching the press conferences, going to the show, talking to people that have seen stuff that I didn't see or vice versa, and comparing notes, I feel like there are a ton of games that seem like they will be bare minimum good games.
Right.
There's like stuff I'm looking at and going like, okay, I'm excited to know more about this, or these are games I'd like to play immediately. And I feel like the games part of it is fine. I feel like the next 6-8 months, like whatever, all the way through Q1, like we're gonna get some really cool stuff.
January and February should be great.
with
March,
the
Yeah.
possible exception of Nintendo.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
Smash aside, like for
kind
people
of
who
a-
like Smash, like they're set. But if you're not into Smash,
If you're not into Smash, this show was like a momentum killer for Nintendo. You're like,
Yeah.
what do they have? Nothing apparently. I don't,
Super
like,
Mario Party.
yeah.
I got that mech game.
They got that mech game. It looks
is coming out in,
cool.
like,
Yeah.
2
Like
weeks.
tennis is almost out. There's a little bits.
there's a little bit of
there.
there.
But
Octopath Traveler looks
when you
good.
start to think
Yeah.
about like what's the real second wave of Nintendo Switch software,
Yeah.
like they didn't answer the question really here.
I don't know why I keep harping on this stuff, but even like just a Galaxy collection for Switch would have buoyed that lineup a little
That
bit
would've been
more.
Sure,
nice.
but like
Yes.
fucking or how about an update on Bayonetta?
Just one
Yeah,
more
or
thing.
Metroid, yeah.
Hell, Yoshi,
Just
for God's sake.
Something else.
No, it's
Yeah, I'm with you.
they're fine on that. They just like say, oh, we were kidding, ha ha ha.
I don't think they even announced I think there's a couple of Splatoon amiibos, but I don't know if they announced
Well, they did that
They have that DLC.
It was like
The
that,
last,
yeah, it was like a Nintendo
right.
Direct. They
The
talked
last
about
Direct.
the DLC.
Yeah, there's stuff coming
okay.
basically through the end of the year.
I'm excited for that
game.
DLC.
Okay, no, I'm
Yeah.
thinking like amiibos.
Looks cool.
specifically.
Oh, well,
Oh, who
none of
cares?
us were thinking about that.
Oh, I was. Well, actually, I'm actually relieved when there's not a lot, because then it's basically just homework of like, hey, spend a bunch of money on this shit.
It doesn't
So,
have to be.
don't-
It really
once
doesn't
you're this
have-
deep, you
I love
have
to compare my passion for video games to homework.
No, your passion for buying
Fractions are
little figures
fun,
that don't do
Ben.
anything.
Math is a wonderful world.
Yeah, you ever
Unlocks.
munch numbers?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Tell you
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
Dan, what do you think of the show? Yeah, you've said that you think Nintendo was underwhelming. Obviously,
Yeah.
I think we all agree. But you know,
Yeah, like that was the distinctive moment for me is when I looked at that list on that kiosk and I realized like, okay, I have one of these games already. It's going to be out for everyone in a week.
Yeah.
You know, the other one's fucking FIFA. And then I looked around and it's like, okay, all these kiosks are this except for the shitty Pokemon game. So yeah, I think they blew it. I mean, I think there's good stuff coming out for the Switch. You know, there's things like Octopath and everything that look interesting that weren't really represented at the show. But if we're just grading the show, Nintendo absolutely blew it. Like,
I mean,
definitely the worst of the three big ones.
I just caution against saying blew it because, I mean, well, none of us are Smash Brothers, like, people. Like,
Right.
it is not a thing that is really
Well,
for us.
I'm a big Smash Brothers person, and I would say they still blew it. Like,
yeah.
because you know, like the information about Smash is interesting and appreciated.
I could have read half of that on a blog.
Exactly.
I'm
Yeah,
satisfied.
yeah. The way they rolled that out, I even think if they wanted to like be funny about like how they rolled out the, you know, having every character in the game, I think that there would have been a more clever way to even handle that moment.
Like one a week for like a
or,
year.
or no, but I mean, even if you wanted to do it in that moment, like they didn't build the in a hilarious way.
No,
Instead, it was
they're
just like,
oh look, we're doing it in the order that they appeared in games, and when that was happening, we were like, what is going on?
yeah. And as they started going, it's
what
like,
do these numbers mean? And
yeah. And just a little behind the curtain thing, Dan and I knew that was the announcement, that it was every character in
I
it.
also knew.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, yeah. And so it was that thing of, as they're running through it, like the expectation was like, okay, this is going to be like a hilarious like they're going to build up to it and it's going to explode at the end or something. And it was just like they had their little numbers next to it, and then they just, when it gets to Snake, it just says everyone is here, and you're like, okay, yeah.
When I heard that it was everyone, I was thinking that there'd be like little vignettes for everyone, where it's like, oh, here's a little skit where it's like, oh, Mario joins the battle, oh, Mega Man does the thing,
Right.
And it wasn't that. It was just a number and then them punching someone.
Yeah, like that stuff seemed like it could have been handled in a more interesting way, I guess.
Yep.
But I don't, but at some point you're just like picking apart like how they choose to present.
Yeah.
That stuff matters, but only right now, and next week no one's gonna care.
Yeah, and I don't want to sound too down on the event overall. Like there are a ton of games that they showed off this year that I bet will be very, very good games. And I'm very excited. And obviously these kind of off years where there's not going to be any big hardware announcements, like it doesn't carry with it the buzz that those years do. So I mean, there's enough good games coming out.
And there's still like a number of teams out there that we just don't know what they're working on yet. So it's like there's still that potential for like pretty exciting announcements down the line, or just details on games that have been announced, like Brad, like the Avengers game, like whatever the fuck Rocksteady is doing.
Yeah.
Assuming Rocksteady is still a studio.
Right.
NetherRealm, obviously, like that sort of stuff. Like, what's your take? What do you think?
The craziest thing about this show to me is that we seem to have slammed headfirst into having to think about new consoles.
Yeah.
Without any preamble, like the next Xbox has a code name floating around.
Yeah.
Like we're getting tentative dates for stuff. Like the big realization to me at the show is that most of the companies or developers showing games here, this is probably their last game on these consoles.
Right.
Because by necessity, if you ship a game starting, let's say, this holiday, by the time you can make another one, new consoles are going to be out.
Right. Unless you're going to bang out a sequel, or
unless
there's still like room for like a
Yeah.
like if you're shipping a game this holiday season, you could probably get one more out.
or if you're like a 2-game studio or
Yeah,
something, maybe
totally.
your other team ships a game next year or something.
Right.
But like by and large, if you finish a project this year or next year and then start a new one,
yeah.
two to 3
Especially
years later,
If you're in a position where you're like, hey, we're a studio that is going to be their launch for
Right.
this
Yeah.
stuff, then
Right.
at some point you're like, okay, well, it's probably holiday 2020 that we really start getting this shit going.
Right.
So are we going to try to get something done, ship it in Q1 of 2020, and then have something else? Like,
Right.
that's not reasonable.
actually, like in super limited cases, people are even looking at stuff here and going, "Is that a this gen game?" I mean, by limited, I think I just mean Cyberpunk. Like,
Well, probably Beyond Good and Evil too.
yeah, actually, that is another one that you look at and think, like, maybe that's not.
Maybe
Starfield?
that stuff is cross-gen. Starfield,
Well,
they
sure,
said.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Starfield, they straight up said was a next generation game.
Yeah, like I'm talking about stuff like running here
Right,
that people
yeah.
are looking at going like, that might not run on this hardware.
When you think about it, when you start seeing things like this Wolfenstein game that is like not necessarily the full sequel, you're wondering if maybe they're keeping that for when that actually comes around and they just want to get one more thing
Or
out
like
of that
Halo
existing
Infinite.
engine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting times for sure. Abby, what'd you think?
I don't know. I felt busier than last year, which I think is more just because I was doing more production-wise. But as far as being on the floor, I felt like last year there was more of a sense of discovery for me, which I think was partially it was my first year at E3. So I was very much, and my first year at a gaming convention in general, so it was very much like, oh, cool, I want to see what's on the floor, I want to check stuff out, I want to take the time to go to booths and like wait in maybe a small line to play some of these indie games I saw at the press conferences.
Yep.
And I felt like there really wasn't anything I saw on the floor that was like, oh, I'll wait 15 minutes to play that, or I'll go check that out. I only saw what was at appointments and then just sort of meandered the floor, and even the floor I walked through in 15 or 20 minutes and I saw all of it.
Yeah. The floor is definitely not even what it was last year. It seems like,
Yeah.
like we talked about Sony's booth just having like this huge empty area in it
Yeah.
where there used to be video games. And
Now they got a long stage.
right.
A
A really long
Yeah.
stage and a lot of room for people to stand there and watch that stage
Yep.
or
There
stand
were a
in
lot of people
line
just
or-
sitting on the ground looking at their phones, clearly just like waiting for their friends or whatever. But
It's a comfy carpet to stand on at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
there's some
squishy.
good,
It was soft.
thick,
E3's
squishy
always
carpets.
had some good carpet.
Yeah,
Bethesda had really good carpet.
yeah.
That's why we come
I heard
here.
them talking about the carpet.
yeah.
For the carpet.
That's
Yeah.
what it is.
You a carpet fan?
I'm a big time, like as long as it's squishy.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is not squishy carpet.
No,
Yeah.
this
No,
is
this is low
this is,
pile.
like, weirdly
You could
crusty
almost
carpet.
sweep this
Yeah.
carpet. What'd you think of the show?
Yeah. I mean, I kind of agree with everyone else.
Yeah.
It was. I had a friend reach out to me who doesn't really follow gaming news, asking what the big takeaway. He's like, "What games should I really be looking out for?" I was like, "Okay, definitely Cyberpunk." And then at that moment,
Fortnite.
it was like, like Ghost of Tsushima to a degree, Last of Us to a degree, but I feel like we were lacking in those like big games that have huge appeal to wide audiences.
Right.
It felt like a lot of like, oh, if you like this is coming out, but
Yeah.
it felt hard to recommend specific stuff.
I think that's video games now.
Yeah.
Like the
I
number
think
of
you're right.
games that can actually like really that you'd feel comfortable recommending to just damn near anyone. It's not. Yeah, there aren't always a ton of those anymore.
I feel like I would still do that for something like The Last of Us, though. Something that's just like, this is a very good quality game that you'll probably find something you enjoy in it.
You'd think, but at the same time, like it's a sequel. Like
It's a
you
sequel.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like
true.
incredibly
It's also-
violent
it's
and brutal
grim. Yeah.
and dark.
All right, guys, you sold me. It's not for
I'm
everyone.
saying it's not Mario, you know?
Yeah.
Sure.
Sure. Yeah. And I think that's gonna do it for this segment. Thanks everyone.
Thank
Those
you.
are
Thank
Jeff.
you, Jeff.
But we'll be back in a little bit. We've got hours of amazing guests lined up. Woo! From here to the end of the night. So do one of these. Just grab hold of your wet.
Yeah.
Is it wet?
I don't.
Why?
It's been wet for, like I said, it's been wet for at least a year. There's a damp.
UVF chair, right?
It's like, yeah,
What did you do to it?
no, it's just been like this. I didn't do anything to it. It just is like this.
Is it like that in San Francisco?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, it didn't get wet here. It's
I didn't know you like to get wet.
let's destroy all this stuff.
Just get it.
We'll be back.
Free Kessler.
Maybe.